Hey guys, this is Joel from the Fincastle Pokemon Gym. Now, the unfortunate part of being 50 is that in cases like today's feature, I cannot remember if this is a deck I threw together at some point, or if this deck was a freebie that came with a new ladder or new battle pass or what, or how on earth this thing ended up in my library on TCG Live. If it was a free one, I wish I'd preserved the original so I could compare how close they were to something really strong, because I did not make a huge number of changes to this thing. But having played both with and against other versions of Mamoswine EX, I feel very comfortable in saying that this is the best version that I've played. Now, since this is a newer card, let's give it a quick look, then I'll get into the deck breakdown. Now, Mamoswine EX is a Stage 2, 340 HP fighting type. It has one ability and one attack, weakness to grass, and a massive 4 energy retreat cost. His ability is called Mammoth Hauler. It just states that once during your turn, you may search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Just a simple Pokemon search. And Mamoswine has one attack. And just for 2 fighting energies, it can do Rumbling March, which does 180 base damage. It also does 40 more damage for each Stage 2 Pokemon on your bench. So if you can get a bench full, meaning 5 in a standard setup, Stage 2s all evolved at one time, then you can hit for a total of 380 damage. I'm sure most people's initial thought is, well, yeah, that's great if you can get 5 guys down, but that's going to be pretty hard to do. I think what I'm going to show to you with today's video is it's really not that hard to do. Now, this list looks like it has a lot going on, but it is much simpler than it probably appears. That said, I'm going to break it down into sections like my last few videos. I hope you guys like it that way. I think it makes it a little easier to digest. So to the Pokemon first, there are 24 total Pokemon in here. But if you look at it, there are really only 2 lines, and then the 4 support or tech cards, if you will. I've got a 3-2-4 line of Mamoswine, and after playing this for a while, I'd really like that to be a 3-3-4 line, so I may make that small change. Then I've got a 4-3-4 line of what I feel is the most underused Pokemon in the game at the moment, and that is Quaquaval. If you check out my Quaquaval EX deck, I'll get the link below. The consistency that comes with the Surging Sparks one, with its up-tempo ability, is crazy good. But combine that with the base set Quaquaval and its Energy Carnival ability, that makes Mamoswine EX ridiculous. But just to summarize, the Surging Sparks one lets you put a card on the bottom of your deck and then draw till you have 5. And then the base set one just lets you attach an extra energy per turn as long as it's from your hand. And moving down the line, Luxray is only here for if you fall behind, but if you do, drop these 2 immediately and get 2 automatic Stage 2s on the bench in one turn. You can attack with them, thus the 2 reversal energy on the list, but that should be worst case scenario for you, honestly, or if you get into some weird single prize game. I guess you technically could play this as Quaquaval Luxray with a Mamoswine search engine, but that scenario has not come up yet, at least when I've played it. Rounding out the Pokemon here, the Cornerstone, Mask, Ogerpon EX, and Pheasantipede, I would just say I'd emphasize use them situationally. You never want more than one of them in play at a time, because then they'll take up those bench spots that you need for Stage 2s. And really, if you get the core of this deck going, you don't really need either one of them, and you should just discard them. But do that after you've got your Quaquaval set up and a couple of Mamoswine. So looking at the items, the main thing here to emphasize is the A-Spec. You want all of your basics down first turn if you can, because then you can use the Technical Machine Evolution to evolve, especially if you go second. And there are 2 gear here to help you find that early Arven to get to that scenario. Speaking of him, I've got 4 Arven, and then 3 Iono. Then I've got 1 copy of Jock, in case you need to dig out those final evolutions, and 1 Professor Turo scenario to pick up a damaged Mamoswine, because there are very few decks that are one-hitting this chubby little Pachyderm. Now onto the tools, I've got 2 of those evolution TMs, because I do like going second and hitting that Precious Trolley evolution TM combo, which virtually guarantees a second turn Mamoswine, in which you have that search available, everything else just kind of breaks loose. And as you can see, I play one big air balloon tool. And it may be tempting to play this early and just attach it somewhere because it's in your hand, but I try to save it if possible until that turn where your opponent has no other play than to just catch something and stall because you're stampeding his face in. So if you think of it more like a switch, then just attach it when necessary, that should keep you rolling and keep you out of that stall scenario. Your other out to that stall is the Professor Turo scenario, so don't waste it either. You can see the energy count here is minimal, but this is really all you need, probably more than you need in most games. I often play through one game with just one attacking Mamoswine, as if you're one-shotting Dragavolts and Gardevoir by turn 2 or 3, you're going to have some really quick finishes with this one. As always, if you have any questions, throw them in the comments below. Now let's take this elephant for a walk. This first match is against a Dragapult EX deck. I do try to seek out matches against sort of the top format stuff. Sometimes it's a little hard to find. Anyway, we come back to me on, I believe this is my second turn. Didn't have a very eventful first turn. I topped that trolley. I was going to get it with the Arven anyway. That saved me having to search that out. Got down 3 Quaxleys and 2 more Swinubs. Then I am going to play that Arven and get my technical machine. And I'll go ahead and grab an Ultra Ball as well. I do just want to hold that Ultra Ball so I can sort of see what I need to do on my next turn. So with my Evolution TM, I'm going to go to Piloswine and to a Quaxwell. I like to manually evolve in this deck because that cuts down the chances of them doing a de-evolution TM move to you later in the game. They got a few basics out, didn't do much else. So I'm going to use that Ultra Ball. Get my first Mamoswine, and once you get him in play, his search kind of becomes a chain that just unlocks everything else. I'm going to use the Mammoth Hauler. And going to get my first Quaquaval. Don't need this Pheasantipede. Hope I don't need it for the game. I'll put him back in, and it'll let me draw 4. Draw still have 5. Got that Iono. Typically that would be what I would play, but they have that 1-card hand, so I'm just going to make them sit there with it. Got enough to get a knockout. I use the boss to catch that Dreepy that has energy attached, and we will try to keep them at a low, if no card hand, if we could get there. We got a Jacques off the prize. They didn't get much else. They sent up the Itchy Pollen and item lock me, which is fine because I've got the Jacques. With Jacques, I will get a Quaxwell and another Mamoswine. Continue just manually evolving these guys. The only thing I don't have is I don't have another Piloswine, so I can't get to that next Mamoswine until I can play an item. I talked about adding a third one. This kind of demonstrates why I want to do that. So we use up tempo here, get rid of the Poffin, only draw 1. I do have a lot of items, but that's fine. I'll take another knockout. Get rid of this last Itchy Pollen. Hopefully the game will be able to advance a little bit faster from here. They actually Iono me, counter catcher up, Mamoswine, get another Buttyu out, and Itchy Pollen again. So I'm still item locked. I'm going to attach to the one they just pulled to the active spot. Then we'll use up tempo, get rid of Luxray. See, I get that Arven, which is exactly what I needed. Use that to get a rare candy, which you can't use right now, and that big air balloon. I'll attach the big air balloon to Mamoswine. I'm going to use the Mammoth Hauler and get the energy attaching Quaquaval. Go ahead and get him evolved. Then we'll use Mammoth Hauler off of the bench Mamoswine. Go ahead and get one in my hand so I don't have to use that search next turn if my hand holds. I will retreat back to the same Mamoswine. I'm going to go ahead and attach a energy to the second Quaquaval because having to take all these single card prizes is giving me the odd number of prize cards. At some point I'm going to probably want to just attack one of these small basics with Quaquaval to even things up. And back on their turn, they Iono me again, get in that jamming tower, finally get to a Dragapult, but only hit me for 70 because they're so far behind on energy attachments. So I'm going to use my first Mammoth Hauler to get a third and my final Mamoswine, a rare candy to him. I'm going to use Vessel to get to fighting out. I can attach both these because I do have the energy attaching Quaquaval. Attach one from my hand to the one with the air balloon, and I'll use the ability to attach the other to the Mamoswine I just evolved. And I will be able to up tempo for a full 5. At this point it almost kind of feels like I'm showing off. Rare candy and another Quaquaval, so I'm at maximum output. And I will stomp out this dragon, undamaged Dragapult EX for 380. Take 2 prizes, and the concede follows because there's nowhere else for them to go in this match. So hopefully this shows just how powerful and Iono-proof this deck is. This last match is against Gardevoir EX. I picked this because I think this in the right hands probably is the best deck in the format at the moment. I cut into this one 7 minutes into it because this whole match was like 36 minutes or something. Just to my first knockout, taking out a Screamtail. They kind of struggled to get a Gardevoir in early, which really doesn't matter because this deck can come back in a flash. Back to me, I get another Mamoswine down. I've almost got my full bench full of stage 2s. They did put down a Lily's Clefairy. Gave me that 2 prize target, so I'm going to go ahead and get it. And this is kind of an important turn for them. If I could have got this last Quaxly evolved, I think this game would have gone differently, but I was missing the candy and could not get it in hand. So I just blow that Clefairy up for 340. Kind of seems like a game I'm going to run away with, but that's what's good about Gardevoir, is that it can make some pretty crazy comebacks. They use Monkey Dory, move some damage over to my up-tempo Quaquaval, and then knock it out with Screamtail. And rightly, they are just targeting stage 2s, trying to reduce the damage I can do with Mamoswine. So I'm going to get Super Rod and put that whole line back in. I got the TM, just so I'd have something I could throw away. Evolve to another energy attaching Quaquaval. Then I'm going to get Quaxly out with my Mammoth Hauler. I really need to get that draw one back in for this deck to keep going. It can get a little clunked up if you don't have that draw power there. So I'm going to search him out, and then we will go ahead and Rumbling March and take out the Screamtail again. I think they just play the one. They just keep getting it back, and I have to keep dealing with it. Get a Quaxly off that prize, and then they come back again, move damage over with Monkey Dory, and take out another Quaquaval. Of course, they also Iono'd me on that turn, so I don't have much of a hand. I do top a boss. Plan here is to just get one of the Monkey Dory with Dark Energy on it and try to take it out before they can snipe that Quaxly. I'm going to try to get it to Quaxwell, make it harder for them to do. It'll put him out of reach. They'll have to at least get another Dark Energy to do that. Also, just want to keep getting Pokemon out to thin so I don't draw them. Get that Quaxly down so it gives me the opportunity to evolve. If they do take out the Quaxwell, like I said, I'm just going to thin, get that Quaquaval in my hand. A lot of Qs there. Then we'll take out the Monkey Dory and put the ball back into their court. I've just got 1 prize card left, but it's getting a little tight there. They actually do get that Dark Energy. They move damage over and take out my Quaxwell. Then they punch the Mamoswine for 190 with an undamaged Gardevoir. So back to me. I'm going to Mammoth Hauler again. Go ahead and get out my Pheasantipity. That's really my only means to draw until I can get that Quaquaval back in play. Again, I'm just going to use the Mammoth Hauler to thin stuff out, so I'll draw something else with Pheasantipity on those 3. I missed the candy. I'm going to touch that Reversal Energy there. It doesn't do me any good because I'm ahead. I can't fall behind in this game, so I can't do anything but just use it as a colorless energy. So I'll go ahead and hit them for 270, and again, kind of put it back in their hands. They charge up their Mew EX, move damage off, set up that Quaxly to get knocked out, and use him to copy Mamoswine and take him out. So now I have a Mamoswine active with no energy in play. I do get the Pokegear, which gets me to the Arven, which again gets me to that rare candy I've been trying to get for multiple turns now. Still going to have to dig a little bit to see if we can get there. I'm just going to play Poffin and then this Precious Trolley just to get these cards out of my hand. I'm just going to fail search both of those. Then I'll get down the Swinub, and then I can use Quaquaval. I'm going to put in a Luxray, see what we draw. There is that Earthen Vessel, and that's finally got me to where I've got the win condition. I use that vessel to get 2 energies out. I'll attach the first one with my hand, then I'll use the energy ability Quaquaval to attach the second. And because I was able to evolve to that extra Quaquaval, got enough damage to take out Mew EX with the Bravery Charm. So we'll hit him for 270, and finally win what I thought was a game I had in hand, and got very, very tight, very exciting at the end. It was a fun game. I feel pretty comfortable in saying that everyone is playing the wrong bird in this one. Yes, the Pidgeot EX search is strong wherever you can fit it in, but Quaquaval gives you all the best of Pidgeot and Revavroom and even Garganacl all in one Pokemon line. Is it a little more fragile than Pidgeot? Yes, of course, but it's only a one prizer. But it also has higher HP basics and stage 1s than Pidgeot, which makes it harder to snipe. Again, I don't know if this thing began as a free deck. I'm pretty sure that's how it ended up in my account. But with the tweaks I've made, I've just discovered my next deck that I'm building a physical copy of. I've already got Goldingo EX and Chinpow EX built. I just finished a Hydrapple EX deck. So this one is my fourth. I usually don't build much more than 4 at a time. 4 is a plenty for me, but what a way to round out those 4. I guess you may have picked up on the theme that attracts me to builds, and that is the ability to one-hit anything. And as far as that category goes, Mamoswine may just about be the biggest boy on that block. Real quick, Randy and I have a new episode of the Appalachian Dim Sun podcast out. We are releasing it in parts. Should be a part coming out each Monday this month. So check it out and support us as we figure out the whole podcast thing. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please help me keep growing this channel by interacting any way you can. Drop a like if you enjoy what you see here, even if you're just here long enough to pause it on the list picture. As long as you keep watching, I'll keep creating decks. And until next time, be not afraid. Later.